Hello, good morning, and good night. Welcome back to the Peppermint Tea series with Mama J Love. Tonight, it is nighttime here. I'm going to talk about a prayer when you are troubled. Again, this comes from a book called Prayers for an Anxious Heart. I read it and I talk about how it relates to me and my life. Hopefully it relates to you too. A prayer when you are troubled. And the Bible verse they use in this one is from Psalms 55, 1 through 3. Listen to my prayer, O God. Do not ignore my plea. Hear me and answer me. My thoughts trouble me, and I am distraught because of what my enemy is saying, because of the threats of the wicked, for they bring down suffering on me and assail me in their anger. Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. And the reading for this is, Lord, I confess I am troubled about what's happening around me. So I want to talk about that real quick before I read the rest of the paragraph. And I am troubled about what's happening around me. Some days I try not to think about it so hard, but sometimes you just do, because there is a lot going on during this time. I will not talk about politics or the news, other than I did talk about COVID in the other podcast, but we're just going to call it all a pandemic, okay? There's a lot going on. And 2020 has been a pandemic. So with that being said, as we watch more and more on TV or we read more and more on social media, we definitely are either troubled or becoming numb or becoming scared, or it's just, it's creating a lot of anxiety and depression in people that may not have had it before, and it may be a lot for most. So, being honest with yourself is the first big thing to start out in a prayer with, because you're in your quiet place, so there's no need to tell stories, or there's no need to make it seem different than what it is that you feel inside. This is the time to confess. This is the time to get out your thoughts and what's going on in there. What's going on in your body, what's going on in your mind, what are you feeling in your heart, what's making you anxious, and just say it. You're troubled, and then admit what the trouble is. Let it all out. So I love that the first sentence in this is, Lord, I confess I'm troubled about what's happening around me, as well as listen to my prayer, oh God, do not ignore my plea. Calling out to the Lord is going to give you a peace that you need right now. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're not at a place where we can just think we can handle everything, So let's continue reading. I'll start over. Lord, I confess I am troubled about what's happening around me. I don't like the things I hear others saying and seeing them doing. Please give me an answer to these troubling thoughts. I'm uneasy when I'm at odds with others, but I know I must answer for my own actions and words, not theirs. Okay, so this reminds me of Twitter. So a lot goes on Twitter, and people are going to have a lot to say about you, and you're going to do things that don't meet what Twitter accepts, okay? And sometimes you just have to step away from Twitter, aka social media, and be in your zone, because sometimes things that you post, your actions, are going to come off differently to others. I mean, you're whew, it's a touchy subject, but try to be either logical in your tweets or carefree, because when you touch on certain things or you dabble in certain things, people will watch you with a hawk eye, okay? They be watching. They're waiting for you to do something. So again, I must answer for my own actions. So whatever you're putting out there is your responsibility to know what it means and why you're putting it out there. You know, it's not easy. I've posted things, I've tweeted things that I'm sure people are still going, she got a lot to say, but when it came to herself, so, you know, we've all been there, and it ain't easy, because then you're on the other side sometimes where you're like, you really want that person to be honest, and you can tell they're telling lies on social media. So, I mean, you just have to take care with your actions. If what you said is what you mean, make sure you grammar check it, make sure it's logical, make sure you did some research, make sure you're putting something out there. So if someone pulls it up in the future, you're not afraid of what they say, and you don't feel a ways about what you wrote. So let me continue. We live in a world where frightening events are happening every day, on and offline. I agree. And it troubles me that evil is so prevalent. Good people are not respected, and families are so distant, especially during this pandemic. You know, this page really touched home, because you know, we are distant. We don't get to see our family like that. A lot of people are feeling more confined to their homes, so they see the same faces all day. I mean, if you're an introvert, it don't really bother you, because you like being alone. But if you know, at least like you had a comfort level where, like for me, I like being by myself, but at the same time, I appreciated family time. So like going over to see my aunts or my cousins or my siblings, like it was nice, because I had that option without feeling that pandemic fear that we're feeling this year. You know, we're feeling like, you know, we should keep still, we should keep in and just stay healthy, and we should, but at the same time we're realizing like we don't get to be around our family, so they're very distant. And then also it talked about good people not being respected. I mean, there's a lot of people trying to be peacekeepers. There's a lot of people trying to be peacekeepers this year. I decided to be part of that instead of the attack everybody till they're done. Not to say that I don't have feedback or thoughts on the events that are going on. I definitely have a lot of opinions on those, but what I'm trying to put out right now is good vibes, good energy, and I do know probably in the future a lot of people, or maybe some people or one person, we don't know, might feel what I'm putting out there is terrible, and I won't get the respect that I want from the energy that I'm putting out there. And I'm gonna have to learn to, pray, because I'm feeling troubled. Like, maybe somebody's not gonna like my content and they'll be very vocal about it, but we just have to remember that what we're putting out there, as long as it's coming from not a negative place or place of trying to attack someone, that you just ask God to guide you. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. It also talked about a lot of evil being so prevalent. And I agree. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, some that we don't see and some that we can take note of. And it's very hard because you feel like evil is winning, or maybe you feel like good doesn't have a place right now. But I'm telling you, just pray when you're feeling that troubled feeling. And that's what I'm going to keep trying to do, because evil can't live here long, and sometimes people have their negative thoughts, and sometimes they feel evil inside. And you just have to figure out a way to channel more of your positives than your negatives. It's very hard because you look around and maybe you see life different from me. Because my challenge to myself every day is to try and look outside and be like, man, there's fresh air. I have my daughter to take care of. I got a decent job. I'm doing something, my roof over my head's not guaranteed. The food on the table is not guaranteed. But for right now, I'm okay. I can't say I'm on the streets. And even if I was on the streets, you know what? I think I would try and figure it out, because I know where to go to wash myself without someone trying to come for me, and know where to get food without thinking too hard. I have tools within me to be okay. And so when I'm troubled, I'm going to try to pray more. I'm going to try to ask the Lord and to help me and hear my plea and confess. Just let it all out, because when you pray, it should be in a quiet place. So just let it all out, You got to pray in your car. You got to pray in your room. You got to pray in a closet, wherever you can find. It's hard, but definitely find a quiet place. It's in the silence that I feel God the most. And so let's continue on. It says, your help to remember that I need your help to remember that you are in control, okay? You, God, are in control. Help me to not be afraid of what people say to me or threaten to do when they disagree with me. Whatever I face, I know you stand beside me. I am not alone. Lord, take my cares. I give them to you. Sustain me through the bad times. Thank you for the promise that you will not allow me to lose my footing, but will keep me on solid ground, unshaken. Amen. And we are definitely going to meet people in our lives that will disagree with us or not support us or not understand where we're coming from with some of the thoughts we have that we share, or some of the things that we support or don't support. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on both sides where I haven't supported something that maybe somebody in my circle might support, and I'll give my valid reason. But again, if that person is stuck in their zone, there's absolutely nothing I can do but pray for that person, and same that I would hope they do the same for me. I don't expect everybody to like who I like. I don't expect everybody to understand what I understand, but the times when if I dwell on it, or if it comes in droves, because there will come a time for many people where people's opinions will come in droves. It won't just be that one family member knocking you down. Sometimes if you start a business, or sometimes if you start a project, or sometimes if you start a vision, or you share your vision with some people, if you share them with more than one, they might, tear it down. And it's not necessarily family. Sometimes it is family, but how you deal with that is you just take a deep breath, pray for God's guidance, and confess that, it hurts. Confess that it hurts that people don't see where you're trying to go with your vision, or what your dream is, or what your goals are. But trust in the Lord that He's in control. If it's for you, it will be for you. If you're supposed to push through and it's meant to be, it will meant to be. If it's supposed to teach you a big lesson, it's going to teach you a big lesson. Everything has purpose, and everyone has purpose. And so just, if someone's negative, let that be your motivation. If it's hitting you hard, definitely take it to prayer. Talk to a counselor, somebody. Don't let it fester. Don't let it grow. Don't let it build to the point where you stop seeing reality for reality, because reality is not negative. Reality is not positive. Reality is just a place where you can create. And so you do what you need to create. And if it is supposed to work out, it's going to work out. I mean, if I think about some of the things that I find that are so negative that end up working out, I know that it's for a reason. Maybe I'm supposed to learn from that negativity that I'm seeing. Maybe I'm supposed to learn from the chaos. Maybe I'm supposed to learn from the pandemic. Something is supposed to be taught, and I'm going to try my best to figure out what it is. And I definitely understand that the control is not all on me. But what I can control is not to let all the opinions or negativity drive me crazy. Because at the end of the day, we were put here for a purpose. Good or bad. We were put here to do what we need to do. And when it gets tough, call on God, call on faith, call on hope, and just keep pushing forward. I want everyone to have a wonderful day, morning, noon, evening, whatever it is. May you be blessed to see another one. If not, may your heart be at peace. And I will talk to you in the next one.